Huh? So the clavicle is located where? Huh? Here, no? Collarbone. Okay? So, by this is like italicized S. Okay, you have two ends. The rounded end is the sternal end, meaning it's facing the sternum or attaches to the manubrium sternae. Okay? And I'm going to give me the sternum. I will show you another. The sternum is part of the thoracic cage bone, because it's the breastplate. But I want to show you where it will attach. So it's attached to the clavicular notch. So the rounded part is the medial end, sternum. So in the practical, never mind answering if it is medial or lateral. Right or left. It's enough now you know it's a clavicle. But this one, for curiosity's sake, this is the right clavicle. Even though this is the, can be like that, but if you look at the clavicle, the medial end is convex. The smooth part is the superior, like that. So that's why if you palpate it, as you mentioned, subcutaneous, so you can palpate the soft part. Underneath, there are tuberosities here for attachment of the subclavius muscle and the coracoacromial ligament. They are rough. Okay? So the rounded end is the sternal end. The flat end is the acromial end. Thank you. So, okay? Stand. So now you join somewhere here. Okay? This one is the suprasternal notch, clavicular notch for the first rib. Okay? So this acromial end, of course, it will attach to the acromion. This is the left one, it cannot be. But at least you know this is now the acromion. So one of the processes, as you have discussed, of the scapula is the acromion. If that would be colored in the practical, acromion. What are other processes of the scapula? Spine. And of course the coracobrachialis. We'll go there later. So this one, clavicle. Okay? So either this will be colored sternal end. Or identify lang, clavicle. Very easy. Okay. Next you have the what bone? Scapula. Okay. So the scapula is described triangular flat bone. So the posterior part is the spine. The smooth part, of course, the subscapular fossa. So this is where the subscapularis muscle comes from. Okay, muscles are named according to where it is originated or located by the heads. Its action. So here, subscapular fossa, subscapularis muscle. Underneath the clavicle, there's a muscle that is attached here, subclavius. Underneath the clavicle. Okay? So, it's a triangle, so the superior, medial border, lateral border. Medial border, it is also called vertebral border because it's facing the vertebral. The lateral can be called axillary because it is facing the axilla. Okay? Yeah, so subscapular fossa is the surface anterior. At the back, the surface are divided into two because of the spine of the scapula. So above, below, infraspinous. So in the practical, if that would be colored here, just answer infraspinous fossa. Okay. So the apex or the inferior angle is at the level of, what's that ito? Rib 7. From rib 2 to rib 7. So that would be a demarcation if pulmonologist or one will insert the needle for thoracentesis. If may fluid pa, they will insert the needle, so they will pay for this. They are at the C7. Okay? The lateral angle, what is this? Glenoid fossa or glenoid cavity. This is depend to accept or to articulate with the humerus. In particular, the head of the humerus. Okay? Glenoid fossa or glenoid cavity. So above the glenoid, you have the supraglenoid tubercle. Below, infraglenoid tubercle. Now, this one is the origin of long head of the biceps brachii. Infraglenoid is the origin of the long head of the triceps. You mentioned ako because tubercle, I mean small. Okay? So process, spinous process, acromion, and the coracoid process. Coracoid, overhanging the glenoid cavity. Posteriorly, you have the acromion. Okay? Scapula. In case colored part dash bone, if the instruction is colored part dash bone, example that one, coracoid process, scapula. If colored part lang, you just answer the colored part. Coracoid process, enough. Huh? In the practical. So next, the arm bone, no? So it's a long bone as you have described. So proximal end, distal end, shaft. So in the proximal end, you have that would be called, of course, the head. Hemispherical. Compared to the femur na spherical here. So this one, hemispherical. The head. Below the head, anatomical neck. Of course, you have the surgical neck. And you know the reason. So this is the one that is easily compared to this. Okay? Then, so by the way, if you want to know, again, in practical, never mind right humerus or left. But this one is the right. The head is facing medial. Always, it will receive the glenoid. Okay? And this is the right because this one is posterior. Olecranon fossa. So, it cannot be like that. Olecranon fossa will receive the olecranon process of the ulna. Okay? So, continue. Medial, lateral to the head, you have the greater tuberosity. Then below, lesser tuberosity. Okay? So you have tuberosity, greater, lesser. So in between, intertubercular groove or bicipital groove. It's called bicipital groove because the long end of the biceps brachii will pass here. Then it goes up to the shoulder going to the supraglenoid tubercle. That's why if you have pain here, you have bicipital tendinitis. And orthopedic surgeon will put steroids. Maybe you have tendinitis. Sometimes the tendon here, repeated movements, inflamed. In your prevention of tendinitis. Okay? So you have greater, lesser, and greater. So forming now the lip. Lateral lip, medial lip of the bicipital groove or intertubercular groove. Okay. Going to the shaft, yeah, lateral, medial, lateral. There's a rough area here, or less half of the lateral border of the humerus, deltoid tuberosity. This is where the deltoid muscle located, no? The prominence of the shoulder. Pakita mo tata mo, bro. Isa going sila. Huh? Deltoid tuberosity. So that in deltoid, you have fibers anteriorly coming from the clavicle, lateral third, from the acromion in the spine, and posteriorly. Okay. So more on the abduction. Okay? Some rotator also because of the anterior fiber. Deltoid tuberosity. Okay? Then, if you look at the notes there, sometimes you see the radial groove at the back. The line is just a small line. Radial groove. This is for the radial nerve going at the back. Coming anteriorly, then going to the posterior. Okay? So distally now, more or less it's regular, no? Distal end. So you have two smooth articulating surface. Medial, you know it's medial because it's the same side with the head. So if you look at the bone, head, medial. So this articular surface on the medial aspect of the distal end is called the trochlea. For the trochlear notch. This is where the ulna will attach. So the trochlear notch of the ulna, kanang shape. Red horse. Ito, mga tapik, no? So, trochlear notch is the C-shape. We'll go there, but at least you can picture it out. It will slide to the trochlea. A trochlear notch. Flexion. Then, on its lateral, more or less dome shape, capitulum. Wala kapiti. So when you talk about caput, so like a dome shape. So capitulum for the head of the radius. So the radius is like that, huh? So this is the ulna, huh? So if the radius will flex, pili ang ulna. This two. Okay. Together, no? No, because they attach manually. They will attach together. So you know, I will flex the radius too. Okay? So, capitulum, trochlea. Head. So above the capitulum, so that it will accommodate the head in full flexion, radial fossa. So that will be colored here, depression, radial fossa. Above the trochlea, trochlea no. Coronoid fossa. For the coronoid process of the ulna, if that would be colored, coronoid, because above is the olecranon process. So you have two processes of the ulna. Above, forming the elbow, olecranon process. Below, coronoid process. So above the trochlea, coronoid fossa, where the coronoid process will enter to during full. If wala na, ita. Okay? Ang olecranon process will accommodate in the olecranon fossa will accommodate the olecranon process during extension. Flexion, kapag-pain sa elbow. No? Okay? Then, of course, same side with the head. Medial, the head, to die. Then, Opposite, lateral, epicondyle, bony extension of the distal end. And this is the common insertion, origin of flexor muscle of the forearm. Ang lateral epicondyle, extensor muscle of the forearm. Okay? What bone? Humerus. We'll go to the forearm. You have two bones, which is lateral. Radius. The medial is the ulna. So, I discussed already partly of the ulna, no? Polycranial process, trochlear notch, coronoid process. Now, besides here, a smooth articular surface facing the lateral aspect, radial notch for the radial head. Okay? Because the radius will move through the during pronation, supination. Okay? Stand. Then the distal and you have extension of small extension of the bone here, styloid process. Towards the head now of the ulna. Distal. Partner with the ulna is the radius, lateral bone of the forearm. Ang saucer-like shape, head, neck. Then, radial tuberosity. At some folks will mention bicipital tuberosity. This is where the biceps brachii tendon will attach also. Huh? Stand. Then, distal end, you have the styloid process of the radius. Opposite the styloid process, there's smooth articular surface for the head of the ulna. It is called ulnar notch. Huh? So, ulnar part, just identify. Okay? So, we'll go now to the carpal bones. So, we'll discuss ang rinapon. So, proximal to distal. Huh? So, proximal, lateral to medial. First bone there is the scaphoid or navicular. So, this is like boat shape, canoe shape. So, you're right there. Then, that's why navicular. Boat shape. Scaphoid or navicular. So, just follow, no? Scaphoid. Lateral, distal. Followed by half moon shape, lunate. If you look at that, half moon. Ano ba, ha? Lunate. Kaya luna, lunate. Moon man ang luna. Followed by triquetral, which is three-sided, smooth, no? If you look at the triquetral, it's like this. There are three sides that are smooth. 1, 2, 3. So regular triquetral. Bigger than the pisiform. Sometimes you'll pick one man. It's like a pisiform. But the pisiform is much smaller. And the pisiform, you have only one smooth. Huh? So, triquetral, the third. And the medial of the proximal is the pisiform. P shape. Or peanut. No, peanut. It's like the smallest of the carpals. Distal row, first is the trapezium or greater multangular. May mga books na greater multangular. Okay? Saddle shape. Saddle shape. Meaning, you see, okay, paddle shape, trapezium. Followed by the boot shape, or small boots, trapezium. Small boots, still, boot shape, what are boots? Boot shape. It's like a small shoes of the dwarf. Boot shape. Then, capite. Again, you can see the dome. So, Capitol building. No? If you see the Capitol, the dome, if you pass there at Capitol, it is called Capitol because you can see the dome. Capi. Dome shape. And lastly, you'll see the hook. Hook shape. This was hook. Hami. Hook. Okay, so that's the distance. Okay, so you have mnemonics on that. I know you have. Is it memorize ba? Huh? During my days, there's another mnemonics too. Huh? Using the M ba? Huh? Greater rectangular, lesser rectangular. Never, diba? Never navicular, lower, lower. T, it depends on the name. T, Tina. We usually use Tina. Never lower Tina's panty. You know, it's easier to memorize one. Up to now, I still memorize it. Never lower Tina's panty. The MM. Mama might, yasi come, H home. Our professor also teach that one. It's easier now to study with some green but. Okay, so in the practical, just answer sample number 1, A and B. So in the setup, A, if I show the PC form, the answer PC form. B, capite. So identify lang the carpal bones. Just identify the carpal bones. No need to no parts, no? That's why you have to want to familiarize the shape. Huh? You familiarize the shape. So PC form, so it's here, PC form, lune, capite. I never type it here because it takes time, no? Capite, the boot shape,